When I saw Logitech announce this keyboard, I got pretty excited because we've taken a look at a lot of compact gaming keyboards recently, Razer, SteelSeries, High Ground, and Endgame gear as well. None of them though could beat the Wooting 60HE, which is this keyboard right here. To say this keyboard has revolutionized the gaming keyboard space would be an understatement to say the least. The rapid trigger feature specifically, and also the really fast actuating switches, just makes game movement feel so responsive. I just can't go back to a normal keyboard after using this. But if anyone can beat the Wooting, it has to be Logitech, right? The king of gaming peripherals, and out of all of these brands that we've looked at, Logitech has the most amount of resources. So let's take a look at what we have here. This is a 60% $180 keyboard with optical switches, but with no mention of rapid trigger or any adjustable actuation point. They do mention though that you can take control of every switch through something called key control, which sounds promising enough even if it is a bit vague. So I plugged it in and downloaded their G Hub software to see what's up, and I was left in shock. You've got some lighting control, some button remapping, and that's literally it. No rapid trigger, no actuation point tuning. I couldn't even remap the bottom right keys to become arrow keys because you can't change the function key. I honestly don't know what to say. I stared at the software for more than a few minutes thinking I had missed something or downloaded the wrong program entirely, but no, this is it. Now, I don't want to be too dramatic here. This is just a gaming keyboard. It's not going to ruin your entire life if you buy it. It plays games fine. It does what most gaming keyboards do, but that's kind of the problem. I can find something on Amazon for like $30 that will do pretty much the exact same thing that this thing does. I mean, it is wireless, which is kind of cool, but we've had like wireless 60% AND Pros for like 7 years now. And who really needs a wireless keyboard? I mean, you have to plug the thing in anyway at your desk. So yeah, a cable is not really hindering your performance. It's not like a mouse where you actually have to move it. But yeah, $180, man. Same price as a Wooting 60, but it's releasing 2 years later, and it's made by the biggest peripheral company in the world. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Also, this feature I keep mentioning called Rapid Trigger, I'm aware that some of you might not even know what this is. Basically, it was first made on the Wooting 60. It allows your keys to instantly reset the moment you start lifting them up. You don't have to wait for the switch to kind of pass back through the actuation point to fully reset, which is what you unfortunately have to do on the G Pro X60. Now, I've shown this test setup before, but basically we've got a high-speed camera, a solenoid, and a 540Hz monitor to analyze what sort of switch release latency we're looking at. Now, this testing is not perfect, as I've mentioned before. In fact, once these keyboards all have their rapid trigger dialed in, I'll be completely abandoning it. And that's because we're testing end-to-end latency here. So the moment the switch starts lifting up to the action being performed on the screen. And the main latency component that we're looking at is actually in the system and the game itself. But even with this test, the difference between the Wooting 60 and the new Logitech is painfully obvious. I did 10 runs for each keyboard. This is filmed at 3000 frames per second, so each frame takes around 0.3 milliseconds, and we keep counting the frames until we see the unscope animation on the screen behind it. The Wooting takes 40 camera frames on average, whereas the Logitech takes more than double. The G Pro X60 is 17 milliseconds slower here on average. So to put it simply, counter-strafing in Valorant, air strafing in Apex, and the zero acceleration movement in Overwatch, it all just feels so much better with that reduced latency input on the Wooting. Now, I do have to be fully transparent here. I am actually in the process of collaborating with Wooting on a custom keyboard, which I am super excited for. This is a rough prototype of what we're looking at. Not sure if we're going to do like gradient keycaps or flat set, because dialing this in has been actually kind of like the main roadblock, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I'm not being paid anything at the moment to say good things about them. I've been hyping up the Wooting 60 pretty much forever. It's actually the one product where I purposely don't have an affiliate link for it because I recommend it so much. I don't want people to think like I'm overly shilling the company because yeah, it's just such a great product. Super important that I disclose that stuff to you. Like, I'll never not take that stuff seriously. But yeah, if you think that I'm biased because I now have a collaboration with Wooting, I completely understand, that is fine by me. This video though is way less about Wooting and it's more about Logitech. Like, what are these guys even doing? There was a time there where, the G Pro Wireless came out, even the Superlight came out. Logitech was like just untouchable, like no one could touch them. They were the gaming peripheral company. Whenever I saw a Logitech product on a shelf, I just knew it was the best, or at least it was extremely decent. I just had like this inherent trust in the Logitech brand, like they knew stuff that other companies didn't and that they were just better than everyone else. Fast forward to today though, I mean, it's almost like just depressing how bad Logitech is in 2024. They have completely lost it. They are out of touch. They are clueless with what makes a good gaming peripheral. Even the Superlight 2, I think the Superlight 2 was like the first clue of Logitech going downhill. It was like barely an upgrade over the Superlight 1. And to be honest, after I felt those clicks, I was like, hang on a second, this thing actually might be worse. But yeah, this is the depressing reality of Logitech in 2024. Just lack of innovation. This is a $180 keyboard, which should be 50 bucks. It is not a pro keyboard by any standard. It is complete trash. That's what I think of it, but yeah, maybe you can let them know what you think of it down in the comments below.